Hello, everybody.
Hi, welcome back
To Poopy Bus Adventures. My name's Veda.
I'm Jeremiah.
So today our video is going to be about how we use the bathroom in the bus.
How to poopy in Poopy.
And pee-pee in Poopy. But anyways, this is our toilet that we use. So you can start off a little bit about the toilet.
Yeah, so as you can tell, we don't have a black water system. We have a gray water system that we talked about in a previous video. But we decided not to go black system just because, we don't want to deal with all the drilling and the tubes and setting it up. So we ended up getting this Julka toilet. It's a cassette style toilet.
I think it's a cassette style toilet. That's what you call them, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an RV style toilet. It's super simple. It doesn't have a water system, so no like press pumps or anything like that. It's literally just, a place to go number one and number two. We'll show you guys some close-up footage while we're talking, but it's a super simple system. Nothing really to write home about. We're not the biggest fans of the toilet until we kind of figured out our way to use it.
Yeah. We also had a different toilet before this, so we do like this one better than the one that we had before. So the one that we had before was like the cassette style, but it had the flush, so there was water involved, and also everything was in one tank. So this one does separate the pee and the poop, so it makes things a lot easier for cleaning up and, just everything in general, smells, all of that stuff.
Yeah, one of the major, pluses is that it does separate it. And it separates it into two different systems that you can remove. So it has,
That's pee right there.
That's pee, and then you have
poop
for number
two. So you go ahead.
So it's really easy to clean and maintain. It really is. That is one thing that we do like about it.
That was the main reason, we wanted something like this over a black tank or a bigger system, is because it really is simple. You take this, you empty it in a toilet somewhere, or you empty it at an RV dump somewhere, and then you just take some Clorox wipes and wipe everything down, and then you're clean.
Yeah,
so
and with this, we basically just put a trash bag liner in it, and then we'll put
a liner inside of there as well.
We'll put a liner through the top so that when we're done doing our business, we can tie off the bag, kind of stuff it down, and then close it, because it does have...
Technically, the liner is supposed to go inside, and then you clean off the toilet on the inside, but we made our own little way around cleaning the toilet and getting poop on the toilet, because who wants to clean that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything goes in a bag, and there's nothing that we have to clean for number two. It's just tie off the bag, and we dump it, we throw it away, or we bury it, just depending on the situation,
Yeah, and speaking about burying it, there's a lot of different rules, a lot of different regulations, and a lot of different ways that every state handles it.
Yeah.
Most parks on the West Coast go by the...
Leave no trace movement.
Yeah, the leave no trace thing. If you want, we can display it on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially what it is a standard of practice for everyone to kind of follow, so that everyone's kind of doing the same thing to leave no trace. So things like burying your waste a certain amount of inches deep,
so far
picking
away
up
from
your trash.
So far away from water sources.
Yeah, that's the big one. Burying waste far from water sources and trails and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the caveat is each park also has its own regulations. So while some parks do follow the leave no trace movement, they also have their own.
There's also some parks where you can't bury waste at all. That's just their rule and their law that they have.
Right. So it'll
They're
say
different.
leave no trace, like we do leave no trace.
But
then
you can't
somewhere
bury your
else,
waste.
Yeah, somewhere else on the site, it'll say, you can't bury your waste here. Or somewhere else, it'll say you can only bury it, 6 inches deep. And then some places are 12 inches. And then some places are 30 inches deep. So it really is a thing that not everyone is on the same page about. And it is really hard to get information on.
We quadruple check before we do any of that, before we dump, before we bury, before we do anything. We quadruple check the state laws, if we're in a national forest, if we're in a national park, if we're on BLM land, water management land, it's all different.
Yeah.
So it's very key to always check and triple check what the laws and rules are for all of that.
Yeah, so always quadruple, triple check everywhere you go, just because, again, you can get in trouble, number one. And number two, you don't want to leave a trace. You don't want to be that person, because we've gone to sites where there's like clearly a hole somebody just dug with
and there's
toilet
paper sticking out of it. Like, obviously they dug the hole like an inch and, you know, pooped in it or whatever and left their toilet paper at the top. So
yeah, so
it's just, and then some places, like I think when we were in Quartzsite, there was like an RV that had dumped their whole entire black tank in like the creek bed. I don't remember if that was Quartzsite or one of the other places in Arizona. But again, it's just nasty. Like, there's no reason to do that, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, again, one of the major reasons why we don't have a black tank, because there is that option for us where we don't have to go to a specified dump center and have it pulled out or pay to have it pulled out. We can just go bury it.
Or throw it in the trash like you do your baby's diaper, you know?
Yeah, that's another thing that there's not, again, not a lot of information on, but there's also technically, that's what you're supposed to do, is throw it away. It is just like a baby's diaper. And we do use the biocompostable bags.
Yeah, we do use everything like biodegradable and biocompostable. So we're not putting plastic or anything like that in the ground, you know, or just throwing plastic and stuff away.
Exactly.
So at least we try to be a little more environmentally friendly on that level.
Yeah, and that's all you can really do is try. You can try your best to be, you know, to follow the rules, and you can try your best to be environmentally friendly. But in, you know, state parks versus national parks versus BLM versus water management, it is so hard to follow all the regulations. Just do your best.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, use good judgment. A lot of people who choose this lifestyle to live on the road, you know, you're already alternatively living, so it's not a big, you know, leap to just be more responsible.
Yeah.
For the most part, most people I've seen out on the road are really responsible. They, you know, do things the right way. It's not like, you know, you live next to a neighbor who doesn't care about their lawn. They never mow their lawn. You know, we're always moving. You're always moving. We're always out on the road. There's always ways to adapt and to, you know, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. But back on the toilet note, just one more thing we're gonna add. So we do use like little pods for the pee section, because the poop we don't have to worry about because it's completely sealed in here and we tie everything off in a bag, blah, blah, blah. But the pee, we do use like the RV little toilet pods that we get from Walmart, just because they do keep it from stinking, because honestly, pee is the stinkiest part out of both of these. You would think it would be poop, but at least my opinion, it's pee. But everyone else has their own opinion on it. So.
I think the number 2 smells the worst, like hands down. Especially when it comes to a toilet like this, I will say, because there's no ventilation system.
Yeah, that's really like the main thing we're missing with this.
Yeah, you have to empty this regularly.
Yeah, you can't just use it like a compost toilet for 2 months at a time, you know? It's obviously, we're not putting compost materials in there. It's just—
We've tried.
Yeah, we have tried, but it doesn't do anything. If you have any suggestions, let us know.
Yeah, we've used cat litter to try to mitigate some of the smell. And you know, it is what it is. When you live this lifestyle in a small space, there's some things that
we give up and that we have to deal with, you know?
Yeah, there's just some things that you have to deal with, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it could be worse. We have a bathroom, that's all that matters, and we have a home, you know?
Yeah, we have a home, we're happy, we're healthy, we
well taken care of.
Yeah, we're well taken care of.
But I think that's it for the toilet video.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave it down below. We'll have links to, you know, stuff down below, information, everything like that. Make sure to check us out. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep, but that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.